and welcome back to another on the Rest Way and to another edition of AEW Dynamite Out of 10. And it's a big episode today because of course all the fallout from Allin, obviously a class show, and yeah, we've got newly crowned AEW champ Hangman Page on the show in a big match, as well as timeless Toni Storm appearing after her victory, as well as much more. But we started things off with a new world champ who came out after an introduction from Tony Schiavone. He thanked everyone that got him to this moment. He then turned his attention to Moxley, stating clearly he did cry and feel emotion, but that didn't make him less of a man or a champ. A loud sold out Chicago crowd echoed the support of the new champ and fueled him to deliver a great first promo as champ. It was not an expected response from the Cowboy with no surprises or interruptions, but that was what was needed in the moment. Before AEW makes it clear if Hangman v Mox is in the plan or not, this was a celebration of a big change for the company. Before we moved into our first match, Mascara Dorado taking on Carl Fletcher, and Dorado pushed Fletcher more than he expected, but the Protest Stars still managed to pick up a brainbuster victory. This was a world battle between two great athletes. Dorado may continue to establish himself to a new AEW audience, but he fully got himself over here. It would be nice to see one of CMLL's best picking up more wins, and hopefully that is the plan as he works more matches. For now, though, he did a great job delivering while the Protestar makes looks fantastic. This felt like two future champions colliding. Fletcher's loss was a tough for his immediate momentum, but he already teased the kind of statement that will make it the expense of Dustin Rhodes when the time's right, and yeah, he should still become TNT champion soon. I'm going to give this 8 out of 10. Before we got the Don Callis family and the Young Bucks taking on Jet Speed, Bandido and Brody King, and of course the Young Bucks are no longer EVPs, with Don Callis rooting them on though. They clicked with Hechicero and Justin Alexander down the stretch and knocked Bandido down with super kicks into Hechicero's El Conjuro for the technical submission. This was unsurprisingly great, complete with fantastic follow-up to the Bucks losing their titles. The home stretch was great. Matt and Nick rolled everyone over and looked great as they've been working with Hechicero and Alexander for a while. This is some of the best character work we've seen from them, and yeah, they showcased chemistry with Jet Speed. These two men are slowly throwing into the family energy betrayed is the right time for it, and yeah, an intriguing story. 9 out of 10. Before we got the rated R superstar Cope explaining his intention to put an end to FTR. Stokely Hathaway explained that Cope would be fired if he got physically involved with FTR. The rated R superstar took Hathaway security and speared him. This was a solid follow-up. Cope made his intent clear, and yeah, he didn't come over off as overly arrogant, but in a way that could be a problem down the line unless the plan is for him to address his own faults. The threat of firing the rated R superstar is over the top, especially for a legend that's too valuable for AEW now, but it's a compelling reason at the same time. Might even delay the believable kind of reunion with Christian that was set up. Before we got the 100k four-way between Statlander, Willow Nightingale, Thekla and Queen Aminata, and after Chris and Willow brawled to the back, Hart missed Aminata to allow Thekla to pick up the win. This is a perfect combination of hard-hitting women, highlighted especially by star-making effort from Thekla. She looked great and in her element, and she was rewarded with the win in a potential new stable. About a month after teasing, it seems that Hart, Sky Blue and Thekla will work together going forward. That's the right fit for the Toxic side. Willow and Stack continue to level whenever they clash, and yeah, we need a one-on-one match, but I'm not sure I'd be brawling to back of 100 goers on the line, but there we go. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 still. But moving on then to timeless Toni Storm, who delivered a passionate victory speech that was interrupted by Athena and Billy Starks. The Forever Champ promised she was coming for the women's title. No one delivers promos like Storm, who had a wild series of rhymes to deliver, and her final ways to Monet. This was structured for the set the stage down the line, but it's clearly moved on for now. It would be nice to see Athena in the ring or even in the balcony with Storm, but it was still good to see the two feuding. Athena has credibility and pedigree to dethrone Storm, so hopefully when we get that match, it will live up to kind of the billing that we've got at the moment. Before we moved on to Okada, who was in quick action against Rafael Quintero, a local competitor, obviously the Rainmaker. He then called out Swerve, who stared him down with confidence. It's so rare to see a 1 minute squash like this. It's not necessary since Okada's so established, but at least it was over quick and got to the focus of the segment. It seems Okada and Callis will remain aligned, which makes perfectly sense as Callis also pulled in the Bucks to his side. More importantly, Okada has turned his attention to the Mogul, setting the stage for a huge unified match at Forbidden Door. This has the potential to be the match of the year contender, and Jet has definitely been a long time coming. Before we got Hangman Page, Claudio and Wheeler Yuta taking on the Death Riders, and Page rallied his allies Briscoe and Hobbs to a successful win, catching Claudio after a buckshot lariat reversal with a roll up for the 3. Afterwards, the Death Riders tried to beat down the baby faces. However, Darby Allin appeared in the Ross. The distraction allowed Hangman to buckshot Mox and stand tall. In some ways, this match felt super flush, but it was still fun. Mox and Hangman sold their pain for Allin, but kept fighting. The big moment of the segment was after when Allin appeared, echoing Sting. Mox's fear in that moment put over the Daredevil big. However, it does mean the Cowboy will have a fresh challenger for a Forbidden Door. A New Japan or a CMLL wrestler would be a great hope for the show. Meanwhile, Allin come again his full promised distraction of the Death Riders in the style of Sting going after NWA. So yeah, I kind of like the callback here. I thought it was a really cool moment, and on the whole, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Overall, AEW Dynamite gets 6 out of 10. It wasn't an absolute classic, but it was incredibly well paced, and it flew by quickly. Hangman Page got the start to kick off his reign. Thekla got the biggest win of her career. The Young Bucks stole their new direction, and there was much more, including Cope laying out his path. So there was definitely a lot to keep us interested, and on the whole, a pretty decent show. That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.